Okay, so now we are ready to start working on sewing on our choice of beads. So I've waited about 10 minutes and let the glue dry because you don't want to get any sticky glue while you're trying to bead. And we're going to bead right up close to this cabochon here. So I think that I'm just going to do a flat beading around, and if I don't like it, I can always add beads at a higher level like this where it's going clear up and around. I might do that after, but first I think that I'll do a few rows of just the flat beads, and I think that I've decided on these. They're little tubular as opposed to these little tiny seed beads. So I've threaded my needle and I pulled it out, measured 2 arms length, and then folded it over and tied a knot at the end. Now I doubled up the knot because this thread is very thin and I want to make sure this goes nowhere. I want it to stay right where I put it, okay? Then I've pulled my thread through the wax, because if you use the wax on this thin thread, it tangles less and it goes through that lacy, stiff stuff better. So when I'm sewing normally, I'm always like kind of wetting it with saliva, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to start like I start my baskets on the side here. So just come back to front, right close to your cabochon, and I'm just going to start there. Now I'll pull it all the way through. So this will hold here, but what I like to do with the first row that I do is go back through that and just kind of tie it up again. So I go add 3 beads, go down, come back through, and add 2. That's the normal way I learned it when I was learning how to do these type of cabochons. So you pick up 3 beads, sew it down, come back up in the middle, add 2, come back up, add 3, so 3, 2, 3, 2. That's the system I learned to do. And so I'm going to keep using that for this situation. So I've added 3 beads. They're dark, so it's going to be a little hard to see them. But what I'm going to do is go right back down. They're all the way right up there where you want them. See that? And I will go back down through the stiff stuff or leather, whatever you use. And see how it's a little snug in there, so it doesn't slide as well. So because this is my first stitch, I am going to go back up, make a little loop, and go back up and secure it that way also. I just don't want any work that I do coming apart. So that's why I'm doing that. And I'll leave the tail on right now in case I need to tighten it up or whatever. I'm not going to cut it. If you watch my basket videos, you'll see where I always leave a little bit of a tail just so I can tighten things up in the beginning till I know they're safe. Now, then what I do is back to front again, and I want to come up right about here. Now, when you're using smaller beads, it's easier just to go straight through. These are a little bit larger, but I love the color, so I'm going to use them. Pull it through slowly, just like you do on baskets, because it can get tangled. And then I want to go back through 2 of these beads. This is why you need small needles, because you got to really get in there. It's kind of snugged it up, but I'm sure I can get back in there. So back through 2. So this you got to go a little slow because look at this thread. So you don't want to tangle it. So back through 2 of those beads. There you go. And that even snugs it down a little. Now you see there's a little bit of wax there, but it's coming off the thread, and that's fine. Then you add 2 more beads. So now you could change colors and create a pattern here. I am going to use the same beads. If I can get my needle through there. So add 2 beads, snug it up because you're trying to get it tight in there. Get right up next to your cabochon. Pull it through slowly. There's no need to rush because you're going to create knots and you don't want that. So let me see if I can get up close. So that's right up next to the cabochon. And don't worry about the little flakes of wax coming off. They're going to dust off pretty easily. So now I straighten my thread again because I don't want needles. I don't want to have to cut the thread and start over. Gonna straight it again. If you want to wet it or wax it again, whatever you want to do it as needed. Now my wax might be flaking a little more than normal because it's old. So then again, I'm going to go back. And so remember I added 2. So now I'm going to go back right up here, come up right in front of that, pull it through. Oh, see, you got to watch it. It tangles pretty easily. Okay, so there we go. It's all through, squeaky. Then I will go back through these 2 and add 3. And if you have those thin needles, it goes through this size 11 pretty easily. A lot of wax gathered up there, or I've got a little knot, God forbid, I'm trying to go slow. It's one thread got kind of tangled up, the other one didn't. So you could use a single thread, but I don't want to do that. So then we just did 2. We added 2, we went back and went back through the 2. So just this double sewing through is making it harder for you to lose any beads. I can't grab these beads down in there. Oh, look at these. They just glimmer and glimmer. So now we are on add 3. So this is beading. It is a bit painstaking, but the look is beautiful. So now other people do it different ways, but this is my way. So see, lean that right up against the cabochon, measure it out. Go back down through the lacy stiff stuff, secure it. Now see, if this glue was still wet here, you could be, your thread could be sticking to it, and then you would get, glue on your thread, and it would be much harder to get through this lacy stiff stuff. So we added 3. I want to come back up for the 2. And you could just go back up through 1 if that's the way you want to do it. But I've just had the habit of doing it through 2. Pull your thread through. Try not to tangle it. See, it tangles pretty easy. And I keep getting just 1 thread tangling, so I must be off on. Let's even it back up. There we go. Okay, so I came back up in front of the 2, and it's important to use colors that blend because otherwise, unless you really want to use like a hot pink so it shows through or something like that, but I tend to use the same color so that it stays hidden down in there. So came back through 2, And then I think I'm on no, I added 3, came back through 2, so I'm on 2. And just to make it easier, you could do add 3, go back through 2, add 3, go back through 2, whichever way you want to do it. Just whatever rhythm suits you. Because it is your basket, you could do whatever you want. So here's the 2. So I tend to always go back through 2. I add 3, 2, 3, 2, and always go back through 2. But you get your pattern established and just follow it. Because if you step away, you might forget where you're at anyway and have to, for some reason, the threads keep splitting apart. Okay, so I added 2. I'm going to go back through 2 and add 3. Sorry, I keep tangling that one thread. There must be something on it that is making a bit of a problem. I'm just going to straighten it, even it all out. I might re-wax it when I'm done here. So back to front again. See, and you start seeing that pattern in the back. But I will cover it all up. You don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. So I want to come out right there because I'm going to go back through those 2 tube beads. I believe that's what these are called, are tube beads. Sometimes they get a little tight in there and it's hard to get through, but these thin needles do go through pretty easily. But I just find it does help if this thread is waxed. Okay, so we're on 2. Now I will do 3 more. And I think you've got the idea. You can figure that part out. And I will just do the rest off camera so I don't bore you with my 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. So I'm at this point adding 3 beads. And if you mess up and get off your numbers, it's not a big deal. Now, the reason I love these 2 beads is, look at, they've got this bright blue, purplish, black, gunmetal. And that's the same look this labradorite stone has. If you look at it closely, it flashes different colors. Now, there's some that have pink or purple, or this one has a lot of blues in it, but there are some little flashes of that purple blue. So I'll go back down. I'll show you one more time, lining it up. Now you see all the different colors in these 2 beads. I snug it up, go back down, sew it on, pull it through relatively slowly. I'm probably going a little fast because, and sometimes it bumps a little, but when you go back through the second time, it's going to even it up. So I think you get the idea, hopefully. If not, watch the video over. I'll come back up by the 2, and then I'm going to sew it back down. And that's how you start couching it. Now, I'll pick back up when I get to the beginning here and show you how we move over to the next level. Okay? That's what it's starting to look like. I'm sure loving those beads. They are glimmer to the max.